Hello everyone, I'm the Black Shadow. It is, Wednesday the 19th of September, and the time is just coming up to 11:15 in the evening. It's been one of those kinds of days, folks. I've been back home about 5 minutes. It's been a joke. So I can't really speak as loud as I normally would, but it doesn't matter because you can just turn up the volume, so I'm not too worried. So this is a bit of a later update video, where it's gone. I know I mentioned it briefly, the last part of Remake that I put up. Was it 18, I think? I forget. And I mentioned, I'd like to say, I think this is a pretty important update video. Well, no, if it wasn't important, I wouldn't update it. So I've got a few things to talk about, although one thing I will say, I know I've said it a few times before, but I want to say it one last time, is the response for Remake has been fantastic, so thank you all very much for that. I know we've only done half the LP, so we've still got Jills to do, but the response has been brilliant, so I'm really happy with that. Anyways, on to actual business of the day. Now, obviously, at the moment we're doing Resident Evil Remake, which is fair enough. We've been doing it and enjoying it, and I've enjoyed playing it. It's been very interesting. But the problem I think I've had for a little while is because I've looked so far forward to and looked for a while to do this LP. Now that I'm doing it, the question then is, what do you do after? And I'm going to be really honest, folks, and say for a while I've not been too sure. I figured, having done Remake, I want to take a small break from horror games, which is fair enough. I know it's a specialty, I suppose, or something I tend to do a lot, but I figure, a little bit of a break from that, just for now, Although I have desired, I have said, and actually if you look at my channel, I've got it there, my desire to do a main LP with some sides. I feel that I would really love, I feel like I want to do a long LP. I mean, the only long LP I would have said was Final Fantasy VI, which I did on its own and took 2 months. And for those of you who watched all the way through, congratulations. I think they're in order for watching all the way through, and I know there's some people that have, and I really do appreciate that, because in some ways that wasn't the easiest thing to record, especially when the first recording session ended up taking up about 30 videos. Never doing that one again. But yeah, so what exactly have I got in mind? Well, I've got a few things in mind as what to do for a long Let's Play series, folks. As I said, the last one I did was Final Fantasy VI, which was started that in February, I think it was, January, February, somewhere around there. And it's been a while since I've done a Final Fantasy game, and some of the comments that I've read here, there, and everywhere, folks. Some people mentioned about Final Fantasy VIII, which is a game which, I said Final Fantasy VI, I never actually finished it. I got to the last area and never finished it. And in all honesty, folks, Final Fantasy VIII is the same. I've seen the whole LP of it before, but I've never actually finished it myself, folks. And a little funny story about this must be about 7-8 years ago now. It was. I was playing through it, because Final Fantasy VI is all one disc, but Final Fantasy VIII has 4 discs on the PlayStation 1. I mean, it started with Final Fantasy VII, that had 3. Fantasy IX has 4. It's the way it went. And I remember that I was playing through it, enjoying it, and I got to about just to the end of the 3rd disc, folks. Literally. I had a friend who's played through it, and he said, I was talking where I was, and he said, I've got about, 20, 30 minutes to go of that disc, and then I'm done. And for some reason, which I've never, ever understood or grasped, about 6, 7, 8 years ago, for some reason I had the disc in my school bag. I don't know why. I think I was planning to go around someone's and finish it off. I don't remember why. And I made a very fatal mistake because we decided, no, sometimes we like played football in the street, which is fair enough. Fatal mistake number 1. I let my bag be a goalpost. You might be seeing where this might be going. That was the first mistake, and the second mistake was me deciding to be in goal because I wasn't frightened to dive around. And at some point, someone did happen to shoot a ball pretty well. Actually, I'll give them that. And I dived to save it, which I did, and then landed on my bag to get a immediate sound. And I suddenly realised, oh god, what have I done? I opened it up in my Final Fantasy VIII disc, number 3, with about 20-30 minutes left of gameplay to go, and I put about 50-60 hours in it, or something like that. Split in 2. You do not understand how hacked off I was with myself for being that daft. And ever since that day, I have never ever been able to get another copy of that disc. Ever. I have never been able to do that last 20-30 minutes to get onto the 4th disc and just, you know, even if I got to say the beginning of the 4th disc and then cracked it, I would have thought, oh, you're an idiot. But to get so close to disc 4 and to destroy the disc, I honestly, folks, I never live it down. Anyways, I'm divulging a bit here. So yeah, Final Fantasy, I forget if you've mentioned about, you know, me doing it as an LP, and it does interest me because I think it's a good game. I don't think, not necessarily my favourite Final Fantasy game, it has some interesting systems in it, which, well, to say some of them are exploitable is a bit of an understatement. However, there was another game I was considering as well. I wasn't really too sure whether to do it or not, was Final Fantasy IX. Which I have completed. Yes, I have completed some Final Fantasies. You wouldn't have thought it. And you know, and personally, I think it's an absolutely fantastic game. I mean, I will go ahead and say I think it's one of the best games I've ever played. I think it's got some of the most memorable characters. I think it's absolutely amazing. You know, I honestly think it is probably one of the best games I've ever played. And, you know, the thought was going across my head, do I want to do this? Do I want to do 8 or 9? Because, yeah, 9's a fantastic game. But I wasn't too sure if I wanted to do it yet. I mean, as brilliant as a game it is, I don't feel that I would necessarily be able to do it justice, I don't think. Maybe I'm being the silly one here, but I feel like in a way I'd want to do it when perhaps there's maybe more subscribers or whatever you want, but more people would watch it and be able to enjoy it. You know, it's one disappointment I suppose I had with Final Fantasy VI is I did it because of the way I did it, admittedly as well. You know, not you know, it was difficult I think for people to follow way through. It is for big LPs, I admit that. Which is where the Cyber LPs come in, but I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, so I'm a bit torn between which one to do, folks, and I'm asking now because if you say dual scenario is still going to take about another 2 to 3 weeks to do, no, at least to upload, it gives me sort of time to get, you know, to get some kind of feedback, you know, because Final Fantasy games, they take a while to prepare. And like I said with Final Fantasy VI, I printed off about 100 A4 sheets for that. You know, it was a lot of work getting all the data and information I wanted together. You know, so you have to really think in advance. But I would love to know what you think, folks. I mean, I want to do a fantasy game. You know, I feel like doing one. And I'm torn between 8 and 9. I'm feeling good 9 because, you know, people want me to do it. You know, and if you're doing a long LP like that, I think you've got to have people who want to watch it. It definitely helps. But I'd like to, you know, get some feedback on that and to see what you guys think. If you think, no, that's a completely awful idea, you know, you're rubbish, then, you know, let me know and I'll go accordingly. But, you know, I would like to do fantasy it, but, you know, I'd like some feedback on that. Secondly, is, well, obviously, if I'm going to be doing a long LP like that, really, you need to do some side LPs with it. And this is where you guys are coming in yet again, folks. You know, Back Shadow Incorporated is in bad need of you, folks. And this isn't a case of deciding what side LP to do, because I've already decided, folks. The problem is I need some. I think I need a bit of help with the game itself, folks. Now, well, I know it's on more modern consoles, but put your hands up if you've ever played a Worms game. And I expect there's a fair smattering of hands coming up right now. I'm just picturing it. I'll be honest now and say, being sort of maybe more of a retro game, I suppose, I think Worms is fantastic. Not such a big fan of the 3D series, mind you, but that's another conversation for another day. And I have figured that I know that's not the easiest game to do a Let's Play series of, but it depends what you define a Let's Play. I mean, I know someone who thinks it's more of a walkthrough, whereas I don't think it should be just a walkthrough. You've got to have entertainment value as well. I mean, what if you come doing a blind LP? It's hardly a walkthrough. It's how klutzy can I be in one go. But I would absolutely love to do a Worms game, because I think they're fantastic. I think they're really, really replayable. I have thought a little bit about which one to do, and I'm torn between whether to do Worms Armageddon, which was a PS1 title, or Worms or Party. I know there's a version released on 360, PS3, and that, but I don't want to do that version, partially because the AI are a word I cannot say, and have the magical ability to chuck a grenade off about 6 walls and pinpoint land on you. And it's an absolute joke. The AI are ridiculous on that. So I'm not doing that version, just so you know. But you see, now for those of you who haven't played a Worms game, assuming there's a few people who hadn't put their hands up, is that one of the brilliant things about playing it is that you can sort of create your own team. Give it its own weapons, its own sort of names, that sort of thing. Even with like Worms or Party Worms Forts, you can give like home bases as such, or like that kind of thing for certain game modes. Now, all of that's fine. Now, I can work through that, but I am a firm believer, and I'll say this all the time, that I think as a Let's Player, I think the idea of involving as many people as you can, as often as you can, is absolutely brilliant. I think it's a fantastic idea. It should be continued as much as I can. I said I can make the team, I can give weapons, that sort of things. However, I would like some help with some names, folks, for our wormy friends, folks. A team has 4 worms, so 4 worms, 4 names. And I suppose I'll call one Black Shadow, because I suppose it only makes sense. However, I would love to get some suggestions from you for some other names for our remaining 3 worms, folks. Because you've got like a random generator, and I could sit there and just think of some names, but it's missing an opportunity, folks. And I would really love to get people involved as much as I can. I love to do it, and I would love for you to go away, have a little bit of a think of any names that you would like to have for some of our Worms, folks. And I haven't figured out how I'll pick them out, whether I'll just choose some of my favourites or pull it out of a hat. I'll decide that later. But I would absolutely love if you could, if you have any suggestions for some of the for names for our warriors, as it were. They pretty much are warriors. Whether you want to put that in the comments or if you want to private message me is up to you. But I would absolutely love to get some suggestions as for names of that, and depending how I pick it out, your name might easily well be one of the names that will be used in our LP, folks. And I think that'd be a nice little touch. I suppose actually I should think, how long do I want to give for that? Well, if you say provisionally, if I say give it to the end of Remake, which is about 2-3 weeks, so you've got plenty of time, folks, because then I'll do a recording session of Final Fantasy insert number here, and then after that, then I do the first recording session of the side LP, which will be whichever Worms I do, and I think 2-3 weeks is a pretty good amount of time, folks. And I said, I know I could sit there and I could think, oh, give him this name, give him that name, but But I'd like to hear what some of the ideas you've got. I'm sure that some of the ideas that some of you have are a lot better than mine. And like I said, I think it'd be really nice to do, folks. So please, let me know of any suggestions. You can put in as many as you so wish. Even if you want to put in like your own like YouTube name or whatever you want to do, it's completely up to you. Put in as many as you so wish. And yeah, it'd be really nice to get suggestions and put those in for the LP. So I'll thank you all in advance for that. Last thing, or third thing, I suppose, because this is starting to get on a little bit longer than I wanted it to. But that's also the update videos. I mentioned in Remake about a certain little birthday. Now, I know I've already done a birthday shout once with Heratura back in Silent Hill, but this isn't a person's birthday as such. Because, what is it? It's, middle of September. And for, some of you may know that that I started recording towards the end of October, folks. It was October 25th, I think, was when the first video went up. I know I created the channel on, I think it was the 13th or so, but I don't count that as a start of LPing. I think that's when you put up your first video, folks. And yes, so sort of the first birthday for Black Shadow's channel is coming up towards the end of October, folks. And I'll be putting up another update video about that, folks. I haven't really planned anything for it as such. I haven't really thought about it recently. I've been a bit busy. I'm sure you can all understand. I might put like a little montage of various bits and bobs or anything like that. Odds are I'll probably make a joke about Portal while I'm at it. Don't be surprised. But yeah, so that's coming up. That's due in a little bit. As I haven't really thought about it much, but I figured I'd let you know that that's coming up, and I will be doing something for it. I just haven't decided yet. I've decided. I might put up like a monster of some of my favourite bits. I mean, if you've got, did I say favourite? Some my favourite LPing bits that I've done. I mean, if you've even got some some parts of that you really enjoyed over the past year, then let me know and I'll have a think of it. And if I do like a montage of like some some of my favourite moments, could well be in it, because there's a lot of footage to go through. 500 something videos. That's a lot to go through. But as I say, I mean, it's. I'll think of something for that, folks, but don't be surprised if that comes up. I'll probably throw out a few stats as well. I'm at it because it is fascinating, looking at things and just, I know perhaps some of my numbers may not be, huge, and I know by some other YouTube, people's standards, and other channels, perhaps the numbers I have aren't really much at all. But for myself, as someone who's never really done anything like this before, I think it's fantastic. I mean, to be looking at 20,000 views for a first year, personally, that is a lot more than I ever thought. I thought I'd get after the first year. I thought, I might click, maybe get into a few thousand, maybe sort of 5, 6, maybe somewhere around that. I never expected 20. And well, as always, I've got you to thank, and I thank you. So much. I feel like running out of thank yous sometimes. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm starting to drivel on again, which is a bad habit, Shadow. Bad. But yeah. So, moral of the story, folks, is please let me know your thoughts. I mean, you've got a main LP to do. What you feel about that. We've got worms names. Which you can literally make whatever the heck you wish, and I think, I know some people would really enjoy doing stuff like that. I think they can get a lot of joy out of it. And if you want to, give me any suggestions or anything like that for what I might do for end of October. No, we've got about 5 weeks or something like that, about that much. So I got plenty of time to get working on something for that. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna call this a video before people start banging on the wall for me talking at 11:30 at night. But oh well. But yeah, so sorry it's a bit late going up, but like I said, it's been one of those days, folks. So no, thank you all very much for listening to me. Drivel on for 20 minutes. And yeah, please let me know what you think, either by comments or personal message. Do it however you wish. I will reply to them both. I love getting comments and that. I thoroughly enjoy it. I think getting onto that, I think, is probably one of the best parts of the job. Being able to interact with so many different people, I think is absolutely brilliant. But yeah, so thank you very much for listening. I've been Black Shadow. And well, you've been very patient, I think, for listening. So thanks a lot. And I'll see you back at the Arclay Mountains in a couple of days or so. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you then.